5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Hello and welcome to the next Thunderbird 2 video, but we're not going to be looking at any Thunderbird 2 parts this time or any pod vehicles. This is the first launch pad video of the series, which I'm going to be doing in between all the Thunderbird 2 videos. As you can see, the parts are still in the box at time of recording, and we're going to be looking at the opening of all the parts for this launch pad and then starting to build it a little later on in this video. I thought it was quite important to start with the unboxing of this launch pad, because when I opened it I was overwhelmed by all the parts and everything that we had to do. One good thing about doing part works is that they are weekly, that we get the parts for the week and the instructions of the week all together in small manageable chunks. When it all comes together, I tell you guys, it is quite daunting, and I was quite daunted by the idea of this launch pad. So now that I've opened it up, yeah, you know, take off the first layer and you got instructions in Japanese, and that was the first time I kind of went, right, okay. The sheer size of the box mixed with that made me cautious. It really did, and it made me kind of take things slowly and take things in. So the next layer is revealed, and you can see I'm doing it quite slowly because I am a little scared. Painfully slowly, in fact. I also didn't want to damage anything because I didn't know how well it was packaged, but it turned out it was packaged really well. So the first part, of course, is the ramp itself with the grooves for the Thunderbird wheels, which reminds me exactly of what they looked like on the original Tracy Island 90s toy, which I thought was pretty cool. The next part, I don't really know what it is. I'm sure it will come to light in time, but yeah, that's the next part. On the next layer, this is the layer that really gets me.
Whoa. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, as you can tell. You know, I was taken aback by all the grey, by all the crikey, sorry, by all the different things, you know, like this, just a bag full of grey parts that I couldn't comprehend how to even begin to look at these parts. It's too much, I tell you, it's too much. So the next part that I get out are the electronics. We have the buttons and the speaker there, wrapped in red bubble wrap rather than the normal plastic of all the other parts. This next part is a piece of grey. I still don't know what it is. It'll come to light in time, I'm sure. Of course, I do know what this part is. This part is quite iconic. It is the bottom flap of the launch pad that catches all the exhaust and all the fumes from Thunderbird 2. It's got really nice detailing in the middle, which we'll look at a little later when we do that part. But yeah, really nice parts. This part was daunting because it is huge, and it's the main runway without the ramp. It's got a hole for the ramp there, and yeah, just baffling. And then, of course, the palm trees, which looked a little plasticky to me, and they still do. And I might do something with the palm trees a little later on when we look at them. So I'll leave them for now and come on to them later. This, of course, is the second part of the runway. You see that it's got the hole in the middle for the ramp, and those two parts go together to form the main bulk of the launch pad. And it is, like I say, it is very well packaged. All of it comes in cardboard, and it's all wrapped up. It's all got its own part, which is very cool, including these parts, which are just more grey parts. I'm sure I'll find out in time what they do. You know, it is well packaged. I do struggle at times to get the sellotape off, and I'm quite cautious at this point of damaging anything. Luckily, I don't think, fingers crossed, I did. I haven't tested any electronics or anything. Oh, look at these parts. They're quite iconic. They're the parts at the underside of the ramp, of course, and yeah, they're pretty cool. It was nice to see them as one piece. This next part is all wrapped up, so I have to get a knife to it, you know, quite haphazardly, considering it's the motor. I probably should have taken a little bit more care with that. But yeah, so that's the motor that moves the launch ramp. I don't know how yet. We'll find out together. And then these parts I didn't take a picture of, but they are black parts that go around the outside of the launch pad, and they've got a nice shiny gloss black finish. So I thought I'd leave them in the packaging, don't touch them till the time comes. And you can tell I'm just exhausted by all that. Look at all these parts. This is ridiculous. So now the parts are all out of the box. Let's get started on building this launch pad. Okay, so the first part of this launch pad build will be this part here. Start off with the iconic part. You've got a glorious rendition of the International Rescue logo there. And then we have all the cutouts here for the buttons and the volume control, the on-off switch, which sound plays. I think one of them is the countdown and one of them is kind of the music. Up and down, obviously. Up. Launchpad goes up, down, guess what? Launchpad goes down, and the big tree button, press that and the trees go down. So yeah, very nice, made in metal. I'll just get out the plastic now. Very thin metal, it has got some slight bends to it, but yeah, looking glorious. It reminds me actually of the lightsaber that we get in the R2-D2 build, that same kind of finish. I love the way it catches the light. I love the way that even when it catches the light, the International Rescue logo still shows really quite clearly and in the dark as well. So yeah, really nice piece this. A good place to start, I think. The next part you'll need is obviously the place to attach it, which is this big black bit here. Now there's lots of these side parts. Oh hello, you can see me. Hello. I'm kind of wearing, well, I am wearing a Stingray top as well. Can you see the Stingray just coming out of the mic there? Just there. How appropriate. But here we go, that's me. It is very reflective, obviously. Yeah, you do get lots of these side panel parts. They are made of plastic, a good quality, strong plastic. They attach with these holes here, and well, there's no hole there because I guess this is the corner part. But we'll get onto that in a later build video. So yeah, this is the part we need to focus on at the moment. It looks a bit dusty on camera, so I just need to wipe that down before I attach it. But you just screw it down into these 6 parts here using the screws provided. Initially the screws terrified me because in the instructions they're just kind of labelled as 2x6 and 2.6x5, and I thought, crikey, well, which ones are they? But of course, I don't know why they wouldn't have done this, but they are very nicely labelled as well. 2.6x8, lots of those, and then 2.66 millimeters. The Japanese writing at the bottom is important because I think it is explains the kind of different heads that they have. So we can have 2.6x6 millimeters with this big circle head, or just like a flat head like this. The picture in the instructions as well kind of shows the head as well. So that's the flat head and that's the big circle head there. So when you kind of take time and look at the instructions and look at all the parts, it is going to be quite easy to put together, I hope. At least this stage will be anyway. So yeah, so the screws you'll need for this are the 2x6 millimeters. I've already taken out the packet, but there's the packet to show that they've all been taken out. And just a regular R2-D2 screwdriver will do for this. Or, you know, DeLorean or the Thunderbird screwdriver, I believe, will do for this as well, because the head is the right size. So let me just screw that part on now. Sorry to whisk that away before I finished it, but I did lose confidence in it. Here it is all attached, and I really found these center ones to be quite troublesome. So I lost some confidence when I couldn't get this one in. I didn't want it to scratch any of this metal work, so I took it off camera to finish it. But I hope you'll agree. It looks great. I really like the silver and the black. It's very classic touch, and you may have noticed now that it is white here, of course, because we are going to turn this over and I need a soft surface as to not to scratch that metal piece which we just installed. So the next piece you'll need is this speaker part here. I'm just going to take it out of its bubble wrap, and here it is, just your classic speaker. Looking very nice, and there's the wires soldered on there. Make sure the wires are at the top for this part, and then we just pop it into this area here like that. The instructions say that you screw it down here and here, but it doesn't come with screw holes. Maybe I'm missing a part. I'm just going to go find that part. Be right. Yes, I know that was quite a jarring cut. I know that was the Captain Scarlet transition and not a Thunderbirds one. But I wanted a jarring cut, and I've always wanted to use that transition, so I thought it would be the best time to do it. Basically, so what I've found, sorry for the pauses, I'm just really trying to get this in. Come on. So what I found by looking into it further and doing more research is that there is no parts to hold this speaker in place. There is just these screws, if they can ever go in. There we go. Got some purchase. These screws do have a little flat top, as you can see. Let me get this one in and I'll show you up close. In we go like that. This is why I don't usually talk over the screwing, because I tend to talk in time with the screwing. So yeah, you see it's got a little kind of metal part there. I can't stop saying kind of. That covers and holds this speaker in place. It isn't a part that I was looking for, it is just the screw. The screws you will be using are these 2.6 times 8, and also there is one spare, so make sure you keep that safe because you'll be needing that at some other point. So yeah, I just wanted to cut there and kind of tell myself off. Oh, what am I saying? Again, this is why I don't talk while I'm trying to screw stuff in. What am I trying to say? This is why I just wanted to cut there and show you that for those of you who are screaming at me, no, there's no parts to find, it is just the screws. I did work that out eventually. It is about 3 weeks after the footage that I was just filming though. So it did take a little while. But now that the speaker is all in, you're going to go see it without these screws in, because I'm going to cut back to me in the past, finishing off this part of the launch pad. But yeah, that is how you do and attach the speaker. So let's move on to the next part of the launch pad. These parts being this triangle button, this triangle button, these two square circle buttons, this on-off switch button, and this volume control switch. Now all these parts just slot into, well actually no, not all of them. If you take away the on-off switch and the volume control for now, and we just put in the triangle parts and the circle parts, just pop them in there like that. Also at some point you'll need to pop in this big button for the trees, but as the part coming up doesn't include that, just leave that safe for now. And the part I am talking about is this part here, this wonderfully Thunderbird 2 green coloured part. You'll see that this is all the electronics. This is what will power the launch pad. Got the on-off switch there, volume control, and all the buttons there. What you'll need to do is you get the on-off switch sticky outy part there, and it's got a hole in the center, which is where you need to put this part through. So just push. Oh, crikey, it is quite tight. So make sure you just push that on there so it is flush. And then you aim up the volume control. You'll see it's not a complete circle, it's got a little part cut out. Similarly, down here it's got a part cut out. So make sure you aim it up correctly and then push that through there. And that'll be the volume control when it's all installed. The volume control hole is this one here, and that's the on-off switch. So you just line them up like so. And you'll see it produces screw holes. These two just leave for now. Screw hole, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I was going to number them, but yeah, there's 5 of them. The 4 on the outside and this one here. These are the ones we screw in now, so I'm just going to go and do that. And that is that part all screwed in. They're not as tight as they could be, but I'll finish that off in just a moment. And if I flip it around, you'll see that this part now has buttons. We have very clicky sound buttons, the on-off switch, the volume control, all working very nice, and then the up button and the down button. They sound a little rattly because, like I say, I haven't screwed them in properly yet. But yeah, looking very nice indeed. So let's just flip this back round just for the final part of this video, which requires this part here. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this part does, apart from you need to screw it onto there like that. I guess it's to push it down at 2 parts and it not touch the electronics. Yeah, that must be what it is, actually thinking about it. So I'm just going to screw this in now. And they screwed in very nicely, actually. I think maybe it just gives more security for the buttons. Yeah, I think it will. Yeah, and that is that part all finished. That is it all done. The control board, I should say, is pretty much all done, apart from the tree button, which we'll get onto at a later date. And of course the speaker is on there. That is that part all done, and I think I'll leave this video here. It has turned out to be quite a long one, but a good start to this launch pad. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm going to be doing the launchpad videos in between the main Thunderbird 2 videos, because parts might not come and things like that. I said it all at the start, but the next part of this launchpad will be up at some point within the next year. That's all I'm going to say. So until then, guys, I hope you will join me for all my other videos, not just Thunderbird stuff, but the Back to the Future DeLorean and the R2-D2 and everything like that as well. I really hope I'll see you there. If not, I'll be back with a Thunderbird 2 video really shortly. Until then, guys, take care. Bye bye.